Good afternoon, good morning. This is Mark Johnson from Loyalty 360. Hope everyone's happy, safe, and well. I want to welcome you back to another edition of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series. In this series, we speak with leading brands about what they are seeing and hearing on the front lines of customer channel and brand loyalty. Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with Vanessa Christie, who's the Director of Loyalty and Experiences at The North Face. How are you today, Vanessa?
I am doing great, Mark. How are you?
Doing well, thank you.
Awesome.
Watching any March Madness basketball?
No, I mean, little bits here and there, some headlines, but I am not following it too closely.
No, nor am I.
Okay.
Yes, not but anyway, a lot of people are following it, so it's good.
Correct. Yeah.
So when you look at you, yourself, your history, we like to start these on a more personal level, so get to know the person we're speaking with a little bit in more depth. And we'd love to know a little bit more about you, maybe your background. Have you been in customer loyalty for a while? Your role at North Face?
Yeah. So most of my career has been in marketing in some area, always for retail brands, and actually mostly in the outdoor industry space. So I've been at Timbuktu Designs, Specialized Bicycles, and now the North Face.
Okay.
Helping to manage as like a brand manager in some capacity, as well as retail marketing, wholesale marketing, loyalty marketing, digital, e-com marketing. So a really broad spectrum of experiences. And then specifically in customer loyalty for about 5 or 6 years now.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A fun fact, there's a passion you have outside of work. Do you like to parasail? You have 14 kids. Did you play soccer in college? What's maybe a passion or a fun fact you have outside of work?
Yeah. So, okay. So my fun fact is that this June, I will be climbing Mount Shasta, which is just over 14,000 feet, it's the 5th highest peak in the US. With a group of around 20 other climbers of different ages, backgrounds, and it's actually a fundraiser for breast cancer prevention.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and it's called the Climb Against the Odds, and actually the North Face has been a big supporter of Breast Cancer Prevention Partner, which is the organization that puts this on. They've been longtime supporters, and I recently learned through that organization that 90% of breast cancer is is not genetic and therefore preventable, that I really want to get more involved. So I'm committing to this personal challenge and physical challenge, which is an area that I'm passionate about, whether it's cycling or mountaineering, climbing. So thank you for allowing this platform to plug my climb, and I'm happy to share my fundraising page too, because a big part of it is around fundraising as well. But outdoor adventuring Absolutely. Is a passion of mine.
Okay, that's good. Good to hear. How long does it take to train for something like that? It's not obviously like climbing K2 or anything.
Yeah, so there's a 16-week training plan, which started a month ago.
Wow, okay. Well, Good luck with that.
Thank you very much. I'm going to need it.
Perfect. So when you look at customer loyalty, first off, we didn't talk about North Face. Got me all confused with the climbing there. North Face. Everyone's familiar with North Face. Most people should be familiar with the brand. Can you give us a little history of North Face and kind of how it was founded and what kind of the mission for the brand is?
Yeah. So North Face was founded in 1966 by 2 hiking enthusiasts, a couple named Douglas Tompkins and his wife, Susie Tompkins. And they really were, as hiking enthusiasts themselves, really wanted to create gear that supported them and their friends and the greater community to explore more. And so in 1966, they started the North Face, which actually started as a small mountaineering store in San Francisco. And there are some epic photos from the opening party where the Grateful Dead played and Hell's Angels were the doormen at this party. So I'm happy to share some of those like archival photos too, because it's pretty cool. And then throughout the 60s and 70s, really just the product line grew, but it all came back to actual athletes and actual people experiencing the outdoors as who they were serving to help people to explore more, protect them from the elements. And then 80s started getting into like specific ski gear. And then the 90s is really when we saw this, like the North Face really broaden the aperture on what it means to explore. And so that's when we started to see some of our iconic products that are still iconic today. So 92 was the Nupsy, which is more ubiquitously known as like the big puffy jacket. Also like the mountain jacket. There's 7 styles at the North Face that are our icon collection that stay in the line year round. And we might drop new colorways, but they're timeless and they're icons. And that all started, and then those main ones really started in the 90s.
Okay, great.
And then one little fun fact actually about the North Face that I was really, that I was excited to learn about, that the logo, so those 3 like illustrations next to the word mark of the North Face, that's actually Half Dome, or inspired by Half Dome in Yosemite, which is this epic climbing wall, and not just a little squiggly mark. So it's Half Dome.
Okay, that's good to know. Good. When you look at your customer loyalty efforts at North Face, what does customer loyalty mean to you, to your organization, and to your customers?
Yeah. So we really look at customer loyalty in 2 main pillars. The first really, of course, is this like emotional loyalty that we bring to life through that experiences and connection. And then the second is more of that purchase-based loyalty. So again, emotional loyalty is really all about making meaningful connections with our customers. So they not only trust us for the product performance, they know when they put on a North Face jacket or pants and go out in the world to explore, that they know that we'll protect them and they can trust the product, but also that they're proud to be a part of the North Face community, advocates for the North Face as a brand for what we do, not only with product, but how we exist in the community, and ultimately like hold a place in their hearts that they bring with them on their adventures, whether it's to the top of a mountain or to the park or on the climbing wall. And then purchase-based loyalty, is more around their repeat visits. Is it depending on what season that they're coming back in, and how we can be a part of their lives from our product perspective year round.
Okay. When you look at the XPLR Pass program, how does the program work? How do members engage with the program, and what are the benefits to the program for the consumer and for your organization, North Face?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll start by saying we actually relaunched loyalty at the North Face in 2021. We first started with loyalty in 2013, so it's a little bit overdue. But so we launched XPLR Pass 2021, and it was really based on consumer research, both members and non. And so part of our goals with this program was, 1, to simplify, make it easy to understand, easy to engage with. The second is really around clarity and to strengthen our core benefits. And the third is really like turning up the volume on the experiential side of the loyalty program, so not just transactional. And so based on that, XPLR Pass has 6 core benefits. The first is around points and rewards. You can earn points on every purchase, and rewards are issued 3 times a year. Rewards start at just $100 spend, and you can also earn points that contribute to earning a reward for non-purchase related activities, like checking in at a national park in the mobile app, to bringing your own bag when you shop in store, or playing games or polls in our member dashboard. Second category access to exclusive product. This is like our most iconic, most coveted product that usually sells out in less than a day, whether it's Gucci or KAWS or online ceramics.
Okay.
Our XPLR Pass members get that first. There's exclusive events, there's gifts. We have a dedicated customer service line that puts our loyalty members at the front of the line so they get the fastest service. And then the last one is our member-only product wear test, which essentially allows our members to purchase TNF gear and then wear it out in the wild during the same like 60-day return window. And if for whatever reason it doesn't work for you, it's not the right base layer, it's not the right temperature, it doesn't fit you and it doesn't fit your need, you're able to return it. So that's like a really great benefit to allow more people to maybe lower that barrier of entry to try something new, a new category from us that they maybe haven't tried before.
Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
And when you look at the program, it has won a number of awards. Newsweek program, Newsweek named one of the top loyalty programs. When you look at the program holistically, what do you think's working well for the program, and what are 2 or 3 things you really like about the program?
Yeah. So I would say the first is really around that we hear from our members every time we do a survey, is really the simplified points and reward structure that provide a lot of real value for our customers. Again, rewards start at just $100 spend, and each cycle, and there's 3 cycles a year, a member can earn up to $50 in a reward to come back. So as a percent of the total spend, it's a substantial amount. And our members have told us that that's something that is one of the most appealing part of our program. The second I'd say is really around these experiential benefits that we're layering on. So last spring, we launched a hiking series called XPLR Pass Trail Days. And last year it happened in 4 different cities in the US, and there's no cost. It included transportation to and from the trailhead. Athletes were there, lunch was included, everything was included, and there was no cost, but you had to be a member to sign up. So we're running that again this year, as well as looking for more ways to, whether it's larger sweepstakes that enable exploration, like flyaway trips to a mountain film fest that we're sponsoring, or other ways that really bring the North Face to life in an experiential way that you have to be an XPLR Pass member to get access to and experience.
Okay, excellent. When you look at personalization of the customer experience efforts, it's something that's a growing area of interest for our members. We actually just had a meeting about it late last week. What's working, what's not working, how you do it at scale. But with your program, you obviously have a diverse set of outdoor interests. How do you look at personalization, and how can you leverage potential technology to help increase the efficacy of those efforts?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of opportunity in personalization, and I think we're probably just scratching the surface, both from the consumer experience side and from a technology side. I think, a big area of focus for us and many folks in loyalty or CLM is actually around stated interests and preferences, and really relying on our members to tell us what they are interested in, when they want to hear from us, what they want to hear from us about, so that we're delivering really relevant content. Yep. and something that they care about, and not the things that they don't, because it's like there's like deductions from our trust bank when we're communicating or sharing news or updates or experiences where they're like, this isn't me at all. And so we really are continually look at how we can engage with our customers in a way where they're telling us, they're stating to us what they want to hear from us on, and we're not making assumptions.
Okay, excellent. And when you look at the success of your customer loyalty, customer experience efforts, Are there a series of KPIs or metrics that you think are important to your program when you start looking at effectiveness and efficacy of the program?
Yeah. So again, we sort of look at the experiential side and more of that purchase-based loyalty. On experiential and the emotional connection, we're really interested in how our members feel about us, their experience with loyalty and the North Face. So in that way, we look at both loyalty NPS. So would you recommend XPLR Pass? And we keep an eye on that on a regular basis, as well as the brand NPS for loyalty members versus non. And then looking at customer sentiment in surveys, whether it's related to XPLR Pass, related to their event experience, their online experience, store experience, that really some of like the way for us to quantify our customer experience is our signals to us and KPIs that we look at to say, like, are we on the right track with what we're doing? And then on the purchase side, of course, like many others, we're looking at frequency, we're looking at the seasonality of the purchases that they're making, and other transactional metrics that help inform that. It's almost like, are we making that emotional connection? Do we have the right product? Are we showing up at the right time? That enables them to continue to come back to us.
Excellent. And when you look at the customers, the members of the program, there has been a lot of kind of disruption with regard to customers, how they engage with brands going through COVID, now coming out of COVID. How do your customers, how are they changing? How do they change maybe going through COVID, looking to do more outdoors, engagements, and then maybe how are they changing kind of coming, back out?
Yeah. So, one thing that we continue to see is their expectations around online experience and the integration of our channels. Whether there's the expectation that if you're engaging in store, that's going to be known and connected to their online account. So it's like one ecosystem. We just have one view of the customer, and that it's connected and frictionless, making it. And these are like bigger challenges beyond just like the loyalty department, but how do we make it easy to purchase and return great online experiences around product that you just don't get when you're on a website versus in store when you can touch, feel, try on. How do we do that for our online customers too? So we increase our trust and in our customers making a purchase. Okay. The other thing, and you spoke to this too around, with the pandemic, that with that coming to an end or that highly restricted part coming to an end, we're seeing a huge demand for in-person events of all different scales, whether it's retail based or more local to regional, like XPLR Pass Trail Days that I was mentioning earlier, to these like larger, like large scale events, more of like a festival vibe, that there's a lot of demand for that in-person connection. And what we're seeing and talking to others in the field, that playbook about experiences in person, the playbook that maybe used to be working before, is not as relevant now. And there might have been some like local or smaller event fatigue because of this like shared playbook that everyone was sort of working with, where that's no longer true. So we're having to kind of go back to the drawing board and think about how do we meet customers where they are and their interests and their expectations now that have changed since the pandemic.
Okay, excellent. What is the biggest challenge you face in your position? What keeps you up at night?
So I would say, so there's two that come to mind. I'd say the first is really staying in touch with this evolution of customer expectations and desires related to experiences, whether it's around purchasing and transaction or these more like brand experiences. their changing and evolving desires and expectations around services, whether you're online, in-store, at events. And really that the third part is around how do we, specifically for the North Face, continue to work towards that emotional loyalty where we earn a place in their hearts as their favorite outdoor brand, not just a brand that they're like, I know this brand's going to protect me when I do and keep me warm or keep me dry. But how do we become their favorite outdoor brand?
Excellent. And when you look at other customer loyalty programs, are there programs that you admire that you think are doing a great job that you are loyal to?
I do think, and REI is both a customer and competitor of us because they are a partner of ours. But I think what I continue to see with REI is this that I admire is also their pivot towards being more community oriented and really looking at they do a great job at balancing the fact that they are a large brand, multi-brand company, but they do like local events for members really well that provide a lot of value for their members that are unique, and they're all really around mostly around learning a new skill or trying a new activity, which to be able to scale that kind of offering that builds in repeat visits to the location, top of mind for their members. The way that they've scaled that, I think, is really admirable. In addition to this, like opening the aperture on what outdoor can look like.
Absolutely. That's great. They do a real good job. I know the person who runs it's a friend of mine, and he seems to revitalize it quite rapidly.
Yeah. Kudos to him and his team.
What's that? Yeah, absolutely. That's a good job.
Yeah.
So when you look at the, people who run customer loyalty programs, if you could ask the person, maybe even REI, a question about the program, what would that question be?
Ooh, that's a great question. I think I would be like using that specific example of REI, and the scaling or like their approach to events. I think I would be interested to know how they're approaching that scaling of events, being a national brand with so many locations, what their approach is to, I guess, almost like a bit on the operation side.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I might need to think about that and get back to you.
No problem. I think that was a good response. It seems to be quite important to both the brands. Kind of the local events and scaling and making them relevant is a big challenge, right? So, well, that's great. The last question I have, somewhat self-serving, is
Okay.
What can Loyalty 360 do to help you and your team, your customer loyalty efforts?
Yeah. I think this is like a starting conversation for the North Face with Loyalty 360. And I think sort of having the North Face involved with, or like more connected with other brands that are in this space and like collaborating or sharing experiences or knowledge. I think that could be a value for us.
Excellent.
But also, Mark, that also is a question that I have for you.
What question is that?
How can Loyalty 360 help the North Face?
Yeah, I think we're unique, at least more so coming through COVID. We have a large and growing brand community. We're very focused on providing opportunities for the brands to engage one another, but also to discuss topics, whether that's personalization or approaches to corporate social responsibility, or looking at metrics and measurement, doing some benchmarking in that regard. We have an active and growingly active membership community, and those who are engaged, they do a great deal. They attend meetings, they advocate, but it's really about expanding the discussion around customer loyalty. We have a mentorship group now. We're doing continuing education. But all this is being driven by the brands who are members and the challenges and opportunities they have. So our goal is really just to continue to build the membership, but also making sure that when partnership opportunities arise, we help facilitate those, or if there's topics around customer loyalty that the community wants to hear about, we facilitate, whether doing a quick research project around it or facilitating meetings that allow them to be a qualitative discussion. I think that's what's really cool. Some of these discussions you'll have 12 to 25 brands on the call, and you ask a couple questions and they just run with it. And it's just so interesting to hear from people like McDonald's to a JetBlue to a Ahold or Sephora, just how they look at different facets of the customer loyalty program, process, or engagement. So hopefully that was a good answer.
That was a great answer.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Vanessa, it's been a pleasure speaking with you. It's, we were very familiar with North Face. I know your company has won a couple awards from us in the past, and it was great hearing more about what you guys are doing and how you're doing it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me, Mark. This has been fun.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you join us back for another edition of our Leaders in Customer Loyalty series soon, and have a great weekend.